Maybe ringworm?
That would be on the list of possibilities, yeah. But usually we see that more in kittens.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
And he's never been sick. He's always been a healthy cat.
Now, did he, like yesterday and today, did he eat for you?
Yeah, he's been eating and drinking and using the litter box. I've been making sure of that. The first few days, when I started giving him that antibiotic, was because he wasn't coming out to eat or drink, and all he was doing was hiding and sleeping. Okay. And that scared me, so I thought, and his nose was dry and he felt really hot.
So
and
that
I
was
thought,
a few days that he wasn't eating or drinking?
Well, just more like not even a whole 24 hours I noticed he wasn't around.
Okay. So when would you say, I just, we've got a lot of different things going on here, it sounds like.
And that's when his ears were really bad. So I had to clean him up. He was miserable.
And have you seen him raking at himself? Has he been scratching and digging at his ears and his head?
I kind of noticed him right before we moved doing that, like itching his ears.
Okay.
But there was nothing that I could see.
Okay.
And we moved, what, the 7th of February?
Something like that.
So, like, right before that, I noticed him itching, but I didn't see anything. Then, like I said, we moved, and like 2 days after we were there, Marshall was, because he always sleeps with Marshall.
Okay, cool.
And he was telling me about all these scab things. He said, I think I might have gotten in a fight with Norton.
Right.
And then it just spread.
This whole area
Yep.
just scab. Okay. Alright. I just need to look and see if there's anything on his tongue at all.
After he lost all the hair, when I clean him up,
Okay.
like they were round, they looked like blisters.
So he was doing this before you moved?
No. I just noticed him scratching a little bit before we moved, but
Okay.
it wasn't till after we moved that all this stuff.
You mentioned about insulation.
Yeah.
Is he getting into a spot?
Oh,
where there
yes.
would be open insulation?
Oh, yes.
There was one point where he was just kind of laying
Laying
like,
in it.
Like what kind of insulation?
It's the pink stuff that goes inside
Pink
the walls.
fiberglass?
I'm sure, because it's insulating from the outside to the in.
Okay.
And like I said, just this weekend I covered all that with plastic. The sheetrock guy
Does he feel dehydrated at all?
was a ghost for 2 weeks, and he finally showed up to cover some of it.
Okay.
and our other cat lays in it too, and he's fine.
But he's got super, super fluffy, thick fur, so I don't think it's even getting to Norton's skin. But yeah, the other cat laid in it too.
Growing up, my dad had a lumber yard, and
Ugh.
we would get carloads. I lived in Cut Bank, and we'd get carloads of fiberglass insulation in, and I just hated those things because you wear long sleeve shirts and stuff and have to unload that, and it was always in the summer when it was hot, and you just itch like crazy. I wonder if that isn't what you have.
I thought of that too.
Here, okay.
I thought of that too.
Because it's weird, because it's like
in his
even
nails
around
and
his
itching
toes and everything, because he doesn't show any sign of any ear mites. I'm going to do a scraping around his head here and just make sure I don't see any bugs at all on his skin. We can sometimes see some manges and things like that, but he doesn't show me anything else on his
body,
like
just
on
his
his
head.
body. His body looks good.
Yeah, they were actually laying in the insulation, and it is the pink stuff that you put in when you frame a room.
Yeah.
And between the studs and the walls, before they sheetrock it, it's the insulation they insulate from the outside of the building. So yeah, I'm sure it's fiberglass. I really cleaned it up this weekend though, because the sheetrock guy wasn't coming around. So there's no access to it anymore. It's covered. He killed a mouse before we left. Before we moved, he killed a mouse in the basement.
Did he?
And didn't you say it was in half or something like that? So he's been in contact with the mouse.
Do you know if he did he eat yesterday or today?
Yes.
Okay, so he is eating some.
Yep,
okay.
every day he eats.
Because he's got a little bit of a temperature. He's 102.7.
Oh, baby.
be right
that's
back.
why he's so docile. I think he just doesn't feel.
Like an allergic reaction, or he's got some kind of like an autoimmune problem or a severe allergy, which could be a food allergy. What kind of bowl does he eat out of?
It's plastic. Their dollar store. It has one side food, one side water. And I did Dawn dish soap, hot water, and bleach, and
Okay.
washed all the animals' food bowls because I didn't want them to spread whatever.
So this is pretty chill for him right now.
Really
For
chill.
him to be this quiet.
To let you poke at him and stuff like that.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
like, fix me. I think he knows.
Oh, he knows. Okay.
He's at the doctor. Poor kid.
Yeah.
I want a kitten.
No. No. God. We have 2 cats
I still want a kitten.
and 2 dogs. We're good.
Maybe a puppy.
How about a turtle? Or
I'll take a turtle.
How about a hamster?
I used to have hamsters.
Marshall used to have,
Or a rat?
You
Rats
no.
are kind of cool.
No.
or a raccoon.
Ferret.
No. No.
Marshall had hamsters. Didn't Zeus kill them?
No. David barked at one of them and it like totally had a heart attack immediately. It was in its exercise ball going around the
So what
house.
I'm doing here is just
David was
trying
like,
to get a little bit of the skin,
Yeah.
and if there's any mites, like have you ever heard like mange or
Yeah.
scabies, things like that?
eek.
Um,
Is that contagious to
scarab.
us?
potentially could be, yeah.
Yeah, I heard the first, like, you gotta draw blood, and then after that, if it's mites, that they just go insane in there. Freak out.
Well, they go insane scratching and digging,
Oh,
that's for
I
sure.
hate bugs, you
Yeah.
guys. Yuck. I can't stand it. I've been like super OCD about his condition.
It's like when the kids are in grade school and then somebody gets hit
Head
by
lice.
ice. It's like, no!
Ugh, man.
I mean, I won't be going to school for a good long while. I'll be okay with that.
I would not be.
No, you don't want to get head lice, man. You definitely don't want that.
He just,
So now, do you have things set to where this kid can't get into the insulation?
Yes, because there's one room. It's a bedroom. It doesn't have sheetrock up, but the door is closed. I went in there and swept everything up and mopped, and now I closed the door. In the hallway where the insulation was, I took this big, thick Viz Queen and staple gunned all around it, so that's enclosed. But in the other room is his construction stuff, you know, that was all laying.
Right. So, well, it's going to be really important that you keep this kid out of it.
Right.
Okay.
I mean, the exposed
Yeah.
stuff is all closed off.
It's all closed off now.
Yep.
Okay, good, good. So I'm going to go look at this under the microscope. You wanted us to do the rabies shot today also, is that correct?
Well, what do you have with you? 150?
Yeah, 150.
Okay, yeah, we're good for right now.
If he got a shot, I mean, is that going to cover all of this? Because I get paid in a week. I'd like to bring back and update him, yes.
Okay. It'd be nice to go ahead and just get the rabies done just so that's handled, especially where you're moving and
Well, if
everything.
we have enough money to do it, we will,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, very good.
Because I would like him to be updated for sure.
Okay, I don't want to, he's got a little fever going, so I don't want to do like the distemperant shot or anything with him right
Okay.
now. But I would like to get his rabies going, okay?
Okay.
So Penny, if you will draw that up, I'm gonna go look at this under the microscope and kind of see what we can see here. Make sure I don't see any ear mites.
Yeah, he's not even trying to get away.
Yeah,
Oh, well,
nice.
maybe he might be now.
The old bastard quit.
Then how long should I wait before I bring him back to get the rest of his shots then?
Probably best to wait until he gets his fever down.
Just until he's better?
Yeah.
Okay, alright.
If he's not going outside and you guys aren't bringing any animals in, he should be fine to wait on that last
Right,
one.
and we always wait when we move like
Better.
45 days before we let them explore so they don't take off.
Yeah.
And it's always worked. Somebody told me to do that. It breaks their radar to want to go back to where they were.
That way they know that where they're at is home.
Mm-hmm. And he's moved, like I said, a lot with us in his lifetime. And he's always been good, and he's always been healthy.
Yeah.
Stop it, I know what you're doing.
He just needs a hug.
Right?
He just wants to get
Chill,
away.
chill. You ain't having it right now.
Kitty bitty, are you gonna escape? He's flicking his tail. See, that's more his
They're picking on me long
demeanor.
enough, you guys. I bet.
No, kitta.
Shotgun Kitta. He's got spiked hair because of all the Neosporin.
Marshall, you want us something?
I just felt bad for him. I just
Shotgun.
wanted to make him feel better till we could get him in, you know? Because he was sleeping, like I said,
See if you're
all the time. And I'll see him roam through like 10 times a day, and I wasn't seeing him at all. So
right.
he was hiding, so that made me nervous.
Okay.
Maybe it's
He's all moving on to me.
when we lived out on the bootlegger, when we first brought him in, like an owl or something tried to pick him up. He had a big scrape on the side of his face and was totally bald on one side of his face for months. It took for it to grow back.
How
and
did he
heal.
get away from the owl?
I don't know.
Because he's magical.
He just showed up and was wounded
He's just Kitta.
because he was out at night.
His head off. Nope.
He's like, I don't want a shot. His tail is flipping.
He's me when I had to get my tetanus shot. Just that I grew out of it.
And you don't have a tail.
I can grow one though.
Or do you?
Lori was born with a tail.
That picture above you,
Aw.
snorting.
The pancake.
Okay. So I did not see any, definitely no ear mites.
Okay.
Okay. And I didn't find any other mites on your kitty right now. Okay. So I think we're dealing with an allergic condition, especially where we're breaking out on our feet everywhere. Okay. So I'm gonna do a shot. It's called Depomedrol. So it's a long-acting, like a cortisone, basically.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Okay, just to try and get his body to chill
Right.
and quit reacting so bad. Okay. The thing I don't like is just you're telling me that he's had times when he just didn't want to eat real good, not acting good, which could be that his body's just on fire.
His ears were horrible though, like the day that he didn't come out at all to eat or drink.
Yeah, they're just
He's-
crusty and
You've
terrible.
been getting to it though as of lately. I've been seeing him eat and drink a lot more.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, every day.
Like I say, his temperature was 102.7, so normal's up to 102. Some cats just a car ride and coming in here is enough to get him to go up a little bit, especially if he's gets hyped up in the car.
Yeah.
Did we get a weight on him?
He is 9.8.
Aw,
8.6.
kitty bitty.
8.6. Okay, all right. And we had him at 9.6 5 years ago.
Yeah, his tail going right now, that's more his demeanor
That's a little
all
more
the
his
time.
normal thing. Okay. All right.
Yeah, he's...
But like I say, it's interesting because even around his claws,
I didn't even think to
they're
look
even
at his
inflamed
claws.
there. But the
That's
rest of
weird.
him, the rest of him looks
Maybe
great.
two litter box.
Yeah, the rest of him looks really good.
Would it be because of his litter box or the litter I'm using?
No,
the
I
same
don't
litter.
think so. But it can be food related. Okay. But like I say, I
'Cause
just
the
kind of think
meow
if
mix is
he's
new since we
been
moved.
burrowing into that fiberglass insulation,
Gotcha.
I think that's my most likely culprit.
Yeah.
And we'll do a rabies shot today. I'll ask to see him back in about 2 weeks.
And we'll update him with the
Because
rest.
I want to make sure that what we're doing is working.
Okay.
Okay. and then we can update everything else at that
Perfect.
point in time. On the other hand, if we find, no, he's getting worse, it's spread to other parts of his body, then we start talking about doing biopsies and doing way more extensive stuff to try and figure it
You
out.
don't think he's contagious to anybody or any animal?
I would definitely have it right now.
I was gonna say, if it
He's-
was like
he
ringworm or
slept by his
something,
head
and
last
if
night.
you ever get ringworm, it'll be just like a dry, crusty spot on your skin. We had somebody just recently that got a kitten from the shelter and it had a bunch of ringworm on it. And one of their daughters has ringworm all over. She was letting it sleep in the bed with her,
Yeah.
you know, and
He slept
yeah,
by his
yeah.
head last night.
Okay.
Like
And
almost
I
every
was-
night.
Oh, one other thing I want you to do is if you have, rather than the plastic bowls that he's eating out of,
Right?
if you can get glass or
Oh.
metal,
Okay.
okay? 'Cause
That's better.
sometimes plastic, they can have some weird allergies to plastic
Oh.
sometimes. Unusual, but
Same
it can
bowl
have,
for a while though.
Yeah.
yeah, but, and like I say, it sounds like most of this came on since you moved to the new place,
The crusty stuff I noticed right off. I mean,
right off the bat,
it,
okay?
well, it was a couple days, like I said, yeah.
And if we're,
I wondered that too. I said, I wonder if it's the insulation because he was in it sleeping and digging at it like
would you
with
grab me a
his.
TB syringe and a 22 gauge needle, please?
I just want to make sure we're not gonna get what he has.
Poor guy. See, somebody's paying attention.
Well, I thought you said 22, but I was just like,
Yeah, well, I'm just
Marshall's
kidding.
just good.
I'm just giving you a bad time.
Marshall's just good.
Got the
Pe-
memory.
Penny's really good too. She's always reminding me of something I forgot.
A
so
jack of all trades.
there you go, cool.
Kitta shedding as usual.
That's what you should do, Marshall, is become a vet assistant.
There's that. How much y'all make up here?
Marshall.
Enough to pay the bills.
we need animals happy.
Good answer.
Wow, that was a great answer.
Yeah,
I have a niece that's a vet tech in Helena right now. She
Oh,
was
yeah?
in Missoula for a while and now she's in Helena.
Is she liking it?
Oh yeah, she's been doing it for years. She loves it. Then I have a sister up in Columbia Falls that specializes in horses. She's like a horse vet. She was on Dirty Jobs with
Your
that
sister?
Mike Rowe, yeah.
Yeah, oh cool.
He went
Where-
to did an episode where she's cleaning out a horse's lungs and
Clean out his what?
his lungs, a horse's lungs.
Okay. Huh.
Yeah, they do.
It's
So where did
episodes
she
like
where did
that.
she go to school at?
I'm not sure where she went to school for all her schooling, but she lives now in Columbia Falls.
Okay. You said that's your sister?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Candace Horner is her name.
Okay. Sorry, kid, we're gonna give you a couple of jabs here. Now, if I'm on the right track, you should see a quick improvement
Okay.
over the next 5 days or so.
Should I keep
Alright.
cleaning that crusty stuff off of him?
You know what? I think I'll have you try and
Leave it alone.
try and leave it alone, at least in an area, and that way, in a couple weeks, so I can kind of see what it's doing. Okay. But I understand how you
And
couldn't
now I
just
won't
let.
wig so much
well,
about it. Now
yeah.
that I know it's not
Well, I can
mites
see
or-
why you were freaking out. But, yeah.
I just can't stand the bug thing. Ugh. I would rather it be ringworm than bugs.
And we have recently had some dogs in with lice. I don't know that
Oof.
I've ever.
Dogs get lice.
Oh yeah, they get
Oh,
lice. Luckily, it
Jesus.
doesn't transfer to people though. Cats get lots of mites though. Okay. That's right, kid.
Well, if Ote had lice, we wouldn't be noticing it. Because
Yeah.
he's always happy.
I really need you to watch over this next week too.
Okay, so I'll leave
that,
him alone.
that he's eating and
Right.
drinking, but you said you feel like he's kind of coming back around.
Well, like I
doing
said, we
good.
see him several times a day roaming in and out where we're at. And he's been roaming normally.
Okay.
Just for that one day, he was nowhere to be found. He was hiding. And he
But if
felt
you
all
find,
hot.
you know, like after this weekend, if you go, boy, he's just kind of quits eating and he's doing worse, call and leave me a
For sure.
message, okay?
For
Don't
sure.
don't say, oh, gee, we gotta wait 2 weeks before
We won't
let
wait.
you know. Okay, yeah, don't. Because I want to know. I don't want him to get sicker and sicker. And,
Yeah,
because this is a little bit unusual. It's
we'd be
not,
calling for sure if he gets
okay.
worse.
Okay,
He's our kitta.
perfect. So you got him as a kitten, huh?
Yeah, his mom was a feral cat. My mom used to live in Dutton, and there was a guy from Great Falls who bought a house out there,
Uh-huh.
and it had nothing but cats in it. And he would come by like once a month and throw cat food bags in there.
Oh my
And
God.
there
And
were
it was just
stray.
like a whole colony of cats. Huh?
Well, they went to knock down the house, so they trapped a bunch of them. He got in trouble, like law-wise, but Kitta's mom was pregnant. The hairdresser lady in Dutton took his mom in, and then when she had her kittens, she gave them away, and we got 2 out of the litter.
One
I
ran
only
away.
wanted 1, but my mother dropped him off and drove away.
Yeah, and he's our blessing in disguise.
Yeah, he's our Kitta.
All right, cool. Well, thanks for taking him on. Yeah, like I say, it's just
I wonder
amazing
where
'cause-
Oliver's at
Because
right
the
now.
rest of him, I mean, he just looks really good, and I presume that's the way he's always been, right?
Yeah, he's
Yeah,
always been
he's
really
just-
healthy.
Our little Fabio.
I don't know, did you notice that? How he's just kind of puffy around his nails. And
I would have never thought to look at his claws.
so, yeah, they're just kind of dry looking. So, okay, all right, guys, we can put him back in his house, and that was I
He's
just
gonna
gave
get
him
mad.
the Depo-Medrol shot, which is a long-acting steroid,
Okay.
and then the rabies, and
So he's had
I
both
wanna see-
shots? Wow, he didn't even flinch.
no, he didn't flinch at all. He's just pretty chill.
Come on in.
Like I said, you let me know early next week if he's not,
It's Comsky's ever been
you
going
know,
in
if he's
there.
not
Yeah,
eating or
he was
drinking or
howling when
acting,
we came.
or acting bad, okay?
Yeah, for sure. We'll call if
Okay,
he gets worse.
And otherwise, I'd like to see him here in 2 to 3 weeks, and we'll do his shots.
Okay.
All right, cool.
Excellent.
Thanks,
All right,
guys.
thank you, sir.
You betcha. Thanks for
Thanks
coming
very
in.
much. It's nice to
Appreciate
meet
it.
Nice meeting you. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, you
Thanks,
guys.
Kidda, for being so good. We appreciate it when we don't get chewed on.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, guys, ready?
Mhm.
Thank you.
Hey, puppers.
Alright, so who's paying me millions of dollars?
This guy here.
It's the person coming out behind us.
Casper, I told you you have to take care of it. You can't go home with random people.
Hey, puppers.
I can't believe
They're entering your phone now, so we'll see what we got going on. Alright. What'd they figure out?
Well, it's not mites.
Not
it's
bugs.
not any sort of bug. Maybe an allergic reaction, he said.
Could. We'll see
He wants us back in a couple weeks to check him out.
Well, let's see what we got.
And he'll need the rest of his shots then too. He has a fever, so there's one we didn't get him.
11:20 on the 12th of March. It's a Thursday again. That's what Dr. Schmidt. Does that work there? Yeah.
Yeah, we'll do that.
I donated a quarter.
Everybody. Can't believe we're not screaming.
Yeah, up those it.
Is that?
No, I can leave him alone.
Maybe Kitta just likes Norton's cat carrier better than his own.
Yeah, probably.
Well, I was worried maybe his cat carrier might have had ear mites or something in it.
217-7171.
Yo.
Are you guys still at 804 14th Street Southwest?
No.
Okay, give me 1 second here. Skyline Dinner, can you hold 1 second, please? Thank you. Alright, give me a new address.
1725 Wire Mill Road, Black Eagle, Montana. And there's no mailbox yet. And I don't have a P.O. box yet. Because we just got there.
Perfect.
Yeah, we're slacking. Lacking and slacking, you know.
Well, I got that updated, so reminders will come next whenever they're due for reminders. So, all right, you got your card. Like I said, we're just waiting on the file. So as soon as we get that, we'll get you guys out of here.
Alright, cool.
What can I do for you?